Well, that was quite the direct, wasn't it? So it just wrapped up, but we got all kinds of announcements. We got Super Mario Maker 2 with slopes. That should just be its subtitle, with slopes. Zelda Link's Awakening remake for Nintendo Switch. We got an in-depth look at Fire Emblem 3 Houses. We found out about Smash Bros. Ultimate 3.0. I mean, barely. We know it's coming, but that's about it. We did get our first look at Joker. We got a ton of DLC coming, such as for Captain Toad Treasure Tracker with co-op and new missions and challenges. We found out about, God, there's so much here to go over even.
Shadow drops, which, you know, we joked about how many we were having in our prediction discussion, and that turned out to be a lot right. We were like, 3 shadow drops, that's too many. I think we have 5 today.
Yeah. I mean, including a ton of demos. Yeah, all the demos. Like, it's crazy.
It was jam-packed with all kinds of stuff, and John, you were half right on a couple of your things. You were right about Dragon Quest. We got Builders, we got 11, no 8, but we also got not Final Fantasy 7 Shadow Drop, but 9. Did not see that coming.
No, we're going to be so busy with Final Fantasy, dude. Like, Final Fantasy 7 is in March. I think 10 and 12 are in April. So we got a Final Fantasy now. We got 1 in March and then 2 in April. There's so, and we've also got the Chocobo game as well.
In March.
There's so much coming.
Yeah, it's just months and months of Final Fantasy, and I think that's all of them at that point. The only one we're waiting on is Crystal Chronicles.
But those aren't the big thing. There's lots of other big announcements in this direct. Jeez.
I'm a terrible host, apparently. So, okay, real quick, what should we start with? Super Mario Maker 2, or what's arguably the most surprising thing, being Zelda Link's Awakening?
Let's start with Link's Awakening.
I like your style, John. So this is a game that's appeared, as John was saying earlier before we recorded, that this game's been appearing on all kinds of fake 4chan lists and whatever else for quite a while now, and sure enough, it actually exists. Whether those rumors had anything to them originally, who knows? But this was a huge freaking surprise, especially with the way they opened it. The whole fully animated intro to the boat crashing on the island. And the completely revamped art style, which looks amazing. It's so different from anything we've seen before for Zelda. I am in love with this game.
So, Andre, you aren't a big fan of the Link Between Worlds art style, right? But
That's correct.
You like this one. And, I guess they're kind of a little bit similar. Like, they have a
they
similar
are.
point
I mean,
of
they are
view.
similar. Yeah, I shouldn't say it's never before been seen. I was thinking more of Link's character model. I think it works better for this, though. I mean, for one, it's not competing with a classic art style being A Link to the Past, because Link's Awakening was never quite as strong visually, I think. So I actually very much like the direction they're going here, where it almost has like a clay-like appearance, I feel like, and it's not quite doing the pseudo 3D thing that A Link Between Worlds was as well, I think. So I don't know, it just looks more elegant this time around. Maybe I've just grown used to it, who knows? But I love how, it almost adds like a dreamlike quality to the look of the game as well, which is very fitting for a game that takes place in a dream.
Right. Everything's so animated too. Like, there's a part where Link's just talking to some NPCs, and they're moving around, they're singing, they're dancing. The owl's just twitching everywhere. Like, they've really brought this adventure to life. But it still looks really loyal to the original as well. Like, I was just going through the trailer trying to compare stuff to what it looked like in the Game Boy version. And they're almost one-to-one in areas. In fact, I don't think there are that many changes, really. But, of course, there will be big gameplay changes, because in the Game Boy version, you can only have 2 things equipped at once, and one of them had to be your sword. So I guess in this remake, your sword and shield will be mapped to just regular buttons. So that's already a huge improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah.
That helps a ton. That was actually one of the biggest hurdles for me getting through Link's Awakening. I've never actually beaten the game before. I've maybe played through 3 or 4 dungeons, and I am so in for this. This is a great visual restyling. It's almost like people are talking about, like, where's Paper Zelda? Where's Clay Zelda? What, all these alternate art styles we've gotten for a ton of these other Nintendo games, and we're finally getting it with Link's Awakening here. And I don't know exactly how to describe this style other than just like tiny toy minifigures type stuff. But it works so well. It's extremely well animated. It's so bright and colorful and happy, and it makes me happy. And boy, is that going to mess with the ending. But man, that opening intro when we're going up through the bubbles, seeing that art style of Link animated like that's some of my favorite visual designs for Link, is that Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, Link's Awakening type stuff. I think that's what Link had some of his best design, and to see that fully animated, which we've never seen before, an animated cutscene for Zelda. No, the Panasonic games don't count. This is fantastic. I'm so there for this.
Same. The only thing that's catching me off guard, though, is we just had Zelda revitalize the entire franchise with Breath of the Wild. And this Link's Awakening remake, if anything, it seems like there isn't much new. Everything we've seen so far was in the Game Boy version. We have no look at new content yet. So do you guys think this is just going to be a one-to-one remake, or are they going to go a bit more out there and do more, so not only modernize it, but maybe even add like new dungeons or just new areas?
There is no way it's fully one-to-one. I mean, it very much looks like it kind of is right now, but I think there will be... I don't think they'll add a ton of content, but I think they'll change enough to it, or they'll change enough and add enough in whoever knows what ways, that it'll... it'll still very much be Link's Awakening, but I think there will be some new stuff here, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't think there's going to be too many big changes outside of, the way items work this time around. But I wonder if we'll get to see the color dungeon from
I was wondering
Link's
that.
Awakening DX, or they'll change it completely, or just add another new second dungeon that takes advantage of some new aspect of this, where maybe you can combine multiple items in different ways this time around and have fun with that. I'm not sure.
That'd be cool. What if there's Korok seeds? What if there's 900 Korok seeds on this island now?
Oh my god. That'd be something.
Yeah.
I mean, there'll be something new here, I feel like. But even if not, the art style alone really makes it look like a brand new game. This isn't your typical HD-fied Zelda. Like, this is a top-down or bomb-up, whatever you want to call it, remake. So they're redoing everything, and I love that. It's something we don't really see much from Nintendo these days. So
I'm very happy with this, and I know we were talking about in the predictions about would we rather a Link's Awakening remake or would we rather a brand new game? And yeah, it would have been nice to get a brand new game, but I'll take this.
It looks like a brand new game.
Yeah.
Alright, well, let's go ahead and move on to another big game, being Super Mario Maker 2. This is how they opened the Nintendo Direct, and while I think we were all expecting it at some point, if not even in this Direct, the amount of stuff they're adding is... They're doing exactly what I wanted them to do, plus even more. They're adding, we're seeing new level themes. We're seeing an entire new game theme with Super Mario 3D World, which isn't even a 2D game, although it kind of is like a 3D version of a 2D game. So it's actually more fitting than might seem at first. And I love how that looks. You got access to the Cat Mario power-up, or the Cat power-up. You've got the Bonsai Bills that can fly in from the background, adding 3D elements to the stages. This is a Super Mario Maker 2 that I'm prepared to love. I like the original a lot. I think I might love this one.
Yeah, this one looks so much better. Like, I like the ease, like that radial menu that you could pick things with. That looked very elegant to work with. And I loved how they had, like, just adding more elements from the games that you can mess with. So now you can have these traveling stages that go in different directions. You have those bars that, like, follow along, and they're only, it's its own platform. That's really fun. They have, I think they had those little sliding guys from Super Mario Brothers 2 in there that send up air gusts. Like, there's little icy guys that ice skated all around. I think that's the ones that are causing those gusts. But we also have Boom Boom. Like, there's a lot of new characters and elements in here that look like a lot of fun to play with.
The 3D world style in 2D puts New Super Mario Brothers to shame. Like, this looks so really good. This is what 2D Mario should always be.
Yeah, I am right there with you.
They bring in a lot of new elements with 3D World as well. Like, there's the clear pipes, and we see enemies going through them. We see fireballs going through them. This seems like the most versatile gameplay style. And seeming as you can do pretty much everything that New Super Mario Bros. Can do within 3D World, I kind of wonder, am I actually going to use that New Super Mario Bros. Style anymore?
I won't. I mean, unless it has some exclusive... I mean, I'm sure it'll have some features that you can't access in the other mode, but in terms of appearance, I'm all about Super Mario 3D World, or using the more classic themes. We have the Angry Sun now, and I'm curious to see what he'll look like in the other versions, in the other different Mario themes. I just love, like, I mean, if you give me a few more tools, like, there's so much infinite potential already with the existing tool set. You just add a small amount more, it really opens the doors to what else you can do. And they're really just adding a ton here. They just open the floodgates. And I am just really stoked to see what all you can do with this. With the being able to set up the scrolling levels now. oh man, I'm just excited. Or it's scrolling in different directions, for instance. I'm just excited.
There seems to be a lot more verticality as well, just with how having slopes, having things be able to pan around a lot more.
Cat Mario,
exactly.
Right.
There's a lot of potential here.
Yeah, and slopes are such a big deal too, because in the original Mario Maker, while there were some very creative and ambitious levels, it's always like you're kind of still restricted to the limitations of the original Super Mario Bros. Because even Mario 3 had slopes. It just made levels feel kind of static in a way. But I do have quite a lot of questions about this game still. Like, we see all these 3D world assets, but can we configure them into other Mario styles? Like, can we have clear pipes in the Mario 3 style? Can we play as Toadette in the world style? Like, there's still a lot of unknowns going on here.
That's a good point. I want to see what the Bonsai Bills look like in Super Mario World style, where they're flying at the camera, if that's possible. So, I hope so. I hope they retain that, but that's going to be a lot of elements that they're going to have to redo for those older games, and some of them might stand out. So, but I do want to see 8-bit. Well, I guess we already have seen 8-bit Cat Mario in the original Super Mario Maker. So there's one sprite done.
Yeah, it's true.
Thanks for the Mii costumes, I should clarify. One thing this game needs though is a proper Miiverse style service. Like, I want to be able to leave comments in people's levels. I want to have that feedback. That is such a key element of this series that I hope they have some kind of replacement for Super Mario Maker 2.
We also need to be able to actually search for levels this time.
Yes.
Get rid of those codes. I mean, we'll keep the codes, but also give us an option just to search for a level title or a creator. Because it was just such a hassle to share your levels in the original game. And in the 3DS game, you couldn't even upload your levels. Yeah. So this is just kind of the best of everything, and hopefully they iron out what the Wii U version didn't do so well.
Right.
I'd love it. I mean, I never was able to get the most creative with Super Mario Maker, the original, and I don't know if I'll be able to do it this time either. Because crafting a really good level takes some time, but seeing what other people can create with all the possibilities here, there's going to be just endless gameplay once again, and so much fun to just see what people come up with and all the potential there. And we don't have long to wait. It's coming in June.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's a lot they can reveal there, like how exactly how the inputs work. Because were they using the touchscreen in this video, or were they using the pointer?
Like, from what I saw, their cursor was very static and it was just moving in a very straight line, which says to me that it was probably like working with the controller while docked.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think.
Maybe that could be. And then there's also the additional characters that we've seen in the artwork, such as Toadette and Blue Toad, and Luigi as well, similarly confirming either they can switch characters, which makes sense, or maybe some kind of multiplayer component, which would be really fun, whether you can play through cooperatively, or maybe there's even some kind of competitive mode that involves stage creation. That's probably not happening, but that'd be kind of amazing if that were the case.
Yeah.
There's that Switch game, indie Switch game that's built around that idea, where you are like building a stage to compete with your friends.
Ultimate Chicken Horse.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Something like that could be amazing for Mario Maker.
Yeah. You saying it comes out in June just strikes me. Mario U Deluxe came out last month.
Oh,
this game undermines it so much.
It does. Yeah, that is bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they figured probably get what they can out of this and then move on, but I mean, I had no plans to pick up U Deluxe anyway, so this is much more down my alley. Although that does bring to light more of a bigger issue with this Direct in itself. Like, I really enjoyed this Direct, but a lot of these games are coming out in the summer. There's very little that I saw coming out in April and May. What do they have planned there? Because we didn't see Animal Crossing, we didn't see Luigi's Mansion 3, we didn't see a lot of the games that they've already announced. So does this mean I'm right and those games are coming out then and all these games are coming out later? Or are they much later in the year? We don't know.
I mean, well, there are a bunch of those third-party games coming during those months, such as Mortal Kombat 11, Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, Final Fantasy 7, so Assassin's Creed Remake even, or a remastered, I should say.
Yeah, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, which is a out of nowhere announcement.
Hellblade looks really good. Like, I've always been interested in that game, but seeing the Switch version, first, the surprise of it existing is kind of huge, because that's a Microsoft-owned studio now. But just looking at it, like, that holds up so well, and it was quite an intensive game when it first came out. So yeah, just to see on Switch, like, looking as good as it does, is just very impressive.
Yeah, that's the most interesting part, is that it's this is a Ninja Theory game. owned by Microsoft on the Switch. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, Nintendo and Microsoft keep getting closer and closer, so... Now, something else that I thought was surprising was Tetris 99. This is basically Tetris Battle Royale, where it's you versus 99 other players, and you see literally everyone playing on screen at the same time, with everyone sending like garbage to each other, based on combos presumably, and you can see people like dropping out in real time. This looks amazing, and also it's a Nintendo Switch Online exclusive, at least for now. So if you're not a member, you can't play this, which makes sense with it being online. But that's a cool little bonus, the fact that you actually get a game worth playing now on the service, that's part of the service, and one that looks really fun. Like Battle Royale is the hot thing right now. But who would have thought of doing Tetris with it?
Seriously. Plus, it's free if you have the Nintendo Switch Online, so there's no reason not to pick this up. And it's something I'm really excited to check out after, picking up Tetris Effect not too long ago. And talk about completely different. Like, Tetris Effect is all about that single-player experience and going trance-like with it. And 99's like, all right, Battle Royale, baby. Let's see how we can do. And boy, am I going to get my butt kicked. But although, now I want Dr. Mario 99.
Oh yes.
Or Tetris Attack 99. Panel de Pon.
We're in a golden age of Tetris at the moment. Like Tetris Effect's like the spiritual one, Puyo Puyo Tetris is the party one, and this is just the insane one.
Yeah, we're gonna see how this turns out. So this might be the only battle royale game that actually, no, I was gonna say that might stand a chance of winning, but there's some insane Tetris players out there, so probably not. Moving on, we got the official announcement of Smash Ultimate, or the 3.0 coming to Smash Brothers. Unfortunately, no official details. Although we did get, as part of this, we got our first look at the Joker in-game model, which looked good to me, but you guys probably have more to say about that, being Persona fans.
I mean, he looked good. He looked basically like his model in the game. It was kind of far away as well, so it's hard to really get a sense of him. But hey, they have his model working now. That's cool.
Yeah, there wasn't really much to take in with Joker. I was expecting at least a little bit more of a teaser, but what we got, I mean, it's nice to see that he's working in-game. And I believe they said he was launching, at the end of April? So he's definitely not far away now. But as Derek said, he just looks like his in-game model, really. So it looks good, but not much to go on.
Oh man, that was a good nap.
Oh,
whoa! Ash is here. What?
Hey, geez,
yeah.
Where'd you
Wait,
come
did
from?
I miss something? Has something happened?
We've been talking about the Direct, man. Where have you been?
Wait, what Direct? I've been in Dreamland.
Don't you mean
well, not actually
No.
Dreamland.
Yeah.
I believe you were in Tetris 99 land, right? You just got done playing the demo, actually, right?
Yes, I just got done recording a Game & Watch of both Tetris 99 and the Yoshi's Crafted World demo, so I'm joining in a little late, but I am here.
So what did you think of, how was it playing Tetris 99? Real quick impressions.
Cool. It was solid. The online play is surprisingly smooth. Matchmaking did not take long, and it's pretty interesting. It's just standard Tetris, but you can, on the fly, you have like 98 other boards, like miniature boards on either side of your board, and you can choose to target them and have your attacks go to specific boards. And so there's a strategic element of trying to attack people who are attacking you or who are almost getting knocked out. And you, of course, all the while are trying to respond to the attacks that happen to you and stay alive. So I think at my highest game, I made it to 36th place, which isn't bad.
That's pretty decent.
That sounds pretty wild that you can actually target specific players, like trying to figure out who to target while you're actually like messing with your own lines. That'd be pretty tricky.
Yeah, it is hard, and I'm by no means a good Tetris player, so there was no pro play going on. But yeah, it's fun, and I gotta say, for something that was just released with the servers presumably getting hammered, the online play was incredibly smooth. So I'm pretty impressed.
All right, that's good to hear. So I'm looking forward to playing that myself. Moving on, we had they had a pretty big segment dedicated to Fire Emblem Three Houses, as we knew going into the Direct. Derek, what did you think of this? Did it give you a better idea of what the game's about? Are you more excited than you were before?
It's taking an interesting route with it because, you hear Three Houses like, okay, we're going to have an inner war amongst everybody. But no, it's actually at peace and you're actually in a school where everybody's going together and you're more of a mercenary as your main character because, you still have the creative character aspect. And, being in the middle of this, not being able to hear it all, I don't have a firm grasp of everything yet. But it seems very customizable because it looks like you can choose which class your characters go to and really change things up. Like there's a lot of options when it comes to this Fire Emblem, and you don't get a great sense of the story yet, but it does seem like not just like, hey, we're palling around and going to school or anything like that. There does seem to be an overarching story. But yeah, the school aspect, I think some people are going to be a little unsure of. I'm okay with it. I think it works. We'll see how they go from there. But the game is freaking gorgeous. Like these cutscenes looked amazing, and the fact that you have a creative character and he slides into these cutscenes with no issue, meaning these are all 3D in-game cutscenes, is extremely impressive. And so far, they did mention, pairing up and all that stuff, like, being able to form bonds and whatnot. No sign of kids being in the game yet, which, let's hope not.
You kind of said that the school aspect might put off some people, but honestly, it kind of makes me see it as like a more light-hearted game. In its debut, it looked fun, but it also looked a little bit serious, and I like that little bit of like comic mischief going on in Fire Emblem. And I've heard people describe this as like Hogwarts for anime fans. That's kind of what it looks like. It looks a lot of fun to me. I've always been saying that they need to focus on the characters in this game, and it feels like that's what they've done with this unveiling of the game. And yeah, it looks like it's come a long way since its last showing. It's visually a lot better, as you said, and the scale's really impressive too. Like they've come a long way since the 3DS games. The amount of units that you can have on the field is just way larger than what the 3DS could do.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that is like, I don't know how many units you can actually have, because the thing they do now is like every character has like an army surrounding them that helps them out, and it sort of does the same thing. So it just gives the sense that this is a large scale battle, which again, I'm all for. That's a really nice touch. To make these wars actually feel like wars. Although the funny thing is that they seem to be downplaying the war aspect of this time around, so who knows what that's going to be like. But I have high hopes for Three Houses, and it is coming a little later than expected, not until July 26th, but that seems to be a worldwide release, which is, I think, the first time we're ever getting that with Fire Emblem, which, yeah, awesome.
It is. There's a big point we need to bring up as well. On the eShop, at the very bottom of the page, it says co-developed by Koei Tecmo, which is interesting because usually Intelligent Systems handle Fire Emblem on their own, but it looks like they're not doing it entirely on their own. So what does that mean? Are they busy with another project, or is this just too large of a scale for them to handle?
It might be a sense of the scale because, Koei Tecmo, I have to assume the Dynasty Warriors divisions, which has all these characters on the screen at once, so maybe they are getting help for that aspect of the game. I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, perhaps Nintendo, needed some extra development muscle, but didn't want to completely foist their, big upcoming Fire Emblem game onto a third party.
Maybe. We got an extended look at Dragon Quest XI S Definitive Edition, and I know you guys have some thoughts about that one too, right? You guys seem pretty excited during this.
The 3DS style made it in, baby!
Yeah!
You can switch between the regular 3D on the field style and the old retro style, which was exclusive to the 3DS Japanese version. For that reason alone, I wanted to buy the 3DS version, because you could play it like an old retro Dragon Quest style. It's so cool that they made it into this version too. And Ash actually brought up a really great point before we started recording. There's an orchestral soundtrack, or kind of. The battle theme and the field theme are orchestrated. So the themes you hear the most are orchestrated, which is huge because the soundtrack was great in the original game, but it was very low quality. So for the Switch version to have like a completely revamped soundtrack, that's a pretty big deal.
Not only that, but it's going to support Japanese audio as well. Like, they are stuffing this game full of content, and it still looks good. Like, this is a really impressive looking game that I'm actually flabbergasted is actually able to fit on the Switch.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it does look a lot better than I expected for such a massive game on the Switch. And, I mean, obviously the PS4 version is going to look better, but the gulf between the two, at least from the trailer, doesn't seem like it's that surprisingly wide. So it's pretty cool. And I haven't got a chance to play Dragon Quest XI yet, but this is the version I'd want to play, it sounds like.
Right, like the PS4 version looks better, but this sounds like it is better. Like everything, like all the content they've expanded upon it. They've revamped parts that the PS4 version didn't do so well. They've not only squeezed onto Switch, but they've kind of enhanced it while doing so.
Yeah, that's extremely impressive. I actually wonder if they'll take the time to maybe make a definitive edition DLC pack for the PS4 and Xbox versions or PC versions as well, just so that content is in there. Hard to say, but if maybe Nintendo's funding this extra stuff to just make the Switch version that much more appealing, that could be an idea.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
It's also interesting that this was the very first NX game we ever knew about, and it's finally coming. It's been a long time coming.
That's true. I didn't think about it in that context. That's actually completely true. What a weird way this has all turned out.
It took a long time to add that 3DS content, okay? So.
Right? Totally.
All right. Well, I think another surprise was, what was it? Astral Chain from Platinum Games?
Yes.
Yeah. While watching this trailer, Derek and I were just going, is this Xenoblade Chronicles X?
It looked like it, right?
The art
It
style's
really
so
did.
similar. Like, the faces kind of look like they're straight from X, but no, this is a brand new Platinum Games IP.
It looked like a Monolith soft game, so I'm like, man, are they going in a very different direction for X2? That's cool, but crazy. What's going on here? And then other times you're looking at it as like, wait, is this Shin Megami? Like, at first we were thinking it was Shin Megami Tensei. It's like, futuristic city and all that. I was like, okay, maybe they're doing that whole aspect. Nope, completely new game.
I was absolutely convinced we were looking at Xenoblade Chronicles X2. Like, I was so sure that was it. And then, nope, it's this completely new IP. And I don't really know what to think about it yet, but Platinum Games is always exciting when they're involved in anything. So this is definitely one to watch.
It's interesting that we're seeing Platinum Games' new IP before Bayonetta 3, which was announced, 2 years ago now?
Yeah,
Right.
something like that.
I like how they brought up Bayonetta 3, but showed nothing from it. It's like, yeah, it's still coming, but we've got nothing for you today.
Yeah.
Pull the Metroid Prime 4.
Made more progress on this than they did on Bayonetta 3, apparently, because they're actually showing gameplay. And man, does this game look fun! It looks like that just, pure Platinum Games insanity we've come to expect. And I love how you have this chain that you can wrap around criminals and pull them in, and these giant bosses. Like, this looks like such an interesting world, and I'm like, okay, I'm in, I'm sold. Like, I had no idea what it was going in, but there was something about this style that just sold me completely.
It's really cool. And sorry, a quick aside. Andre, you mentioned Metroid Prime 4, and something I realized we also didn't get this direct is Metroid Prime Trilogy, which continues to be something we think we're getting, but we continue not to.
It's the new Mother 3.
I feel it. Yeah, my God, don't go there. It's coming. I feel it in my bones, but yeah, clearly I don't know when. This isn't the time for it, apparently. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like
Here's
we're far
hoping.
away from that, to be honest, because Metroid Prime 4 could be years away. Like, they rebooted development, so there's no real rush to get Prime Trilogy out, because that game's meant to maintain the momentum for Prime. But if Prime 4's so far away, what's the point of getting that momentum out there now? Because you'll just lose it by the time Prime 4 comes out.
Exactly.
Until they announce Metroid Prime Maker, John.
Of course.
That's obviously coming.
Obviously.
Yep, indeed. Well, speaking of things that are upcoming, we got new DLC on the way for Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, including an update today that adds co-op to every course in the game, along with paid DLC that will add 18 new challenges and 5 new levels, including one of which is playable today if you buy that DLC ahead of time. So this is something I didn't quite expect. Captain Toad is already a pretty well-rounded package, and yet, hey, here's more for it, which is awesome. Although it's like, hey, where's the new Super Mario Party boards? But
Yeah, God.
this is neat. This is a nice surprise. So this game seems like it'd be a perfect game for co-op to go through with either a significant other or one of your children. And then you give me more challenges in the same vein as those Mario Odyssey ones, for instance. Sign me up for that. I love those levels.
I have a problem with this. My problem with this is, in co-op, you play as a duplicate Toad. Why don't you play as Toad and Toadette?
Because she's
I was thinking
Because
the
you're
same
rescuing
thing.
the other one.
Well,
I think,
yeah.
right.
I
Usually.
suppose, but
I
later
guess,
on in
yeah.
the game, like they unite. So I
it should have been Blue Toad.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, right. Maybe it's that you can play those extra levels at any time you want during the campaign, like during the story mode, so perhaps they don't know that you're going to have Toad and Toadette reunited.
that makes sense. Though knowing Nintendo, you just press the X button on the menu, and all of a sudden, there's these other Toads.
I mean,
This feels like it's been a long time coming. Like, I actually loved Captain Toad Treasure Tracker on the Wii U, and so that's why I don't have it on Switch. But even back when my wife and I played it and finished it, we were hungry for DLC courses. courses, and it just never materialized. But of course, now they are for the Switch version, which means I need to go double dip if I want to play the new stuff.
I wonder how much this DLC is going to cost, though, because it is, as you said, only 5 new courses. And one of the courses you can play for now, like right away. So like, when it comes out, you're only going to get 4 new courses to really sink your teeth into. Granted, again, you get to play one early, but I don't know. It just seems minimal compared to other DLC.
You're right. Yeah, and when Captain Toad came to Switch, it came with those new Odyssey levels, and I didn't really replay those. Like it was brand new content, but when you're done with it, it's just kind of done with. And I kind of feel like that might be the same case with these courses, and because there's so few of them, is it going to be much lasting appeal to this DLC?
Yeah, we'll see, I guess. So, I mean, I think if it's $5 to $7, that'd probably be okay. But if it's 10, that is kind of stretching it. So, it's hard to say for sure. That we don't know exactly what form those challenges are going to take, how in depth these levels might be. Although we probably know it's probably pretty similar to how they have been, like a few minutes each. In either case, it's nice to have as an option. You don't have to buy it. The game's already complete without it. So I think it's just cool that they're adding more to Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. All right, well, I think that's most of the highlights. I mean, there's still a lot more we can go over. So I guess we'll kind of just open up to whatever you guys want to bring up that stood out to you about the Direct. Beyond what we've already mentioned.
Well, one really cool surprise with it was that Final Fantasy IX was shadow dropped onto the Nintendo eShop today, which I don't think any of us were expecting, because I think we were all generally expecting 7 to come first and then 9, but nope, they decided to do 9 first, and that is super exciting to have that on the go.
I've kind of been thinking about why, and I guess when you release 7, people will buy it regardless, whereas 9 has a passionate fan base, but it's not as big as 7's. So I guess they're just maybe trying to get the most sales out of 9 before getting to 7? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, they're ramping up to that instead of leading with 7, which is their grand opus of re-releases. It makes sense to build up to that to a degree.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense. And there's going to be Final Fantasy fans excited about 9, and they'll pick that up right away, and they'll get a lot of that big sales boost to just check it out as soon as possible. I mean, I'll probably pick it up pretty soon. Once I get through all this other stuff to cover. But that's a really exciting drop. Another, to me, big one. I mean, I'm not that big into the series or anything like that, but for Nintendo to secure it and for the implications of it, Deltarune Chapter 1 coming to the Switch on February 28th is quite huge, because it was a free update on a free game on PC. It's been out for a while, and it's only 3 hours long, but it's a nice look at what's coming next from the Toby Fox, creator of Undertale. And he even said himself in a post that he wasn't sure how much more he'd be able to move on with it. And the fact that this says Chapter 1 really indicates that, okay, he is trying to push forward and get more of these updates done and really continue the story of Deltarune, which I think is exciting for all fans.
And it's a big deal that it's coming to Switch as well, because Deltarune was only on PC. So for it to come to Switch first, that's huge. Undertale came to PlayStation 4 to begin with, before touching a Nintendo platform. So this is not only a big indie game, it's just this is a phenomenon, the Undertale and Deltarune series. Yeah, so for it to debut on Switch first, that's a huge deal.
One other really, really nice surprise that I really liked was the announcement of Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice for the Switch. That I don't think anyone saw coming, and this was a game I really wanted to play back on PS4, because it's a game that deals with mental health issues, and I love that. But now it's coming to Switch, and honestly, the visuals, it doesn't look like there's much of a visual downgrade. It's still a really great looking game it seems like. So for me, that was personally a really cool surprise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought about you when they announced it. It's definitely something worth checking out once it does hit. And in fact, it's, as we kind of mentioned this before you joined us, but the whole fact that it's being developed by Ninja Theory, or was developed by Ninja Theory, which is now owned by Microsoft.
Oh, that's true. That actually really makes things even more interesting, right?
Yeah,
the implications of that. Yeah.
Yeah. This Direct is really all about surprises, including a sequel to BoxBoy, which, by the way, I think is called exactly what I predicted. Welcome back, BoxBoy.
Unfortunately not. It's BoxBoy and BoxGirl. It's focusing on that co-op. But they did start with Welcome Back, BoxBoy, which did make you really excited.
That caught you off guard.
Yeah.
Man, I'm depressed now.
Yep.
Co-op's a cool surprise, though, because that's something you couldn't really do on 3DS. So it's nice they're doing something with the series that's unique to Switch.
Yeah, I mean, I like the look of it. I mean, it's still that very basic idea, but I love how they've expanded upon what you can do with these boxes. They really seem to have, just gone to the well with new ideas and how each character has their own sort of special abilities. Like, I think BoxGirl can toss boxes really far away, which, cool. I mean, I didn't play the second two, I only played the first BoxBoy game, but I'd be interested in picking this up on the Switch.
I'm with you too. I only played the first BoxBoy game, and I think I was kind of losing interest in 3DS when they released more of them. But I'm fully planning on buying the Switch one.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I never played much of the original games, but
yeah,
I mean, this is one of the few from Nintendo in April, so
it's true.
It'll be worth checking out. Then something else that was surprising to me was just the sheer amount of demos. We had Tetris 99, as we already discussed. We had Daemon X Machina, and then Yoshi's Crafted World all out today. That is very unusual, especially for Nintendo. It's rare that they do they've been stepping into doing more demos in the last few years, but dropping 3 at once for upcoming games, that's surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was really surprised by that too, particularly for Yoshi's Crafted World, because that seems like a game that more or less would, sell itself on the strength of the Yoshi IP alone, but I think it's really cool that they're giving people an early look at it, and I actually just did a Game & Watch and had a delightful time, so I'm even more excited than I already was for the final release.
Yeah, what they showed during the Direct looks really good.
Having played Ash, how do you think it holds up to Woolly World?
It's interesting because in a visual sense, I don't believe it's immediately striking. Woolly World had this really striking visual style that just popped as soon as you saw it. And the Crafted World visual style is still really cool, but it's a bit more of a slow burn, so it's not as immediately, oh my god, as Woolly World was, in my opinion. But the gameplay it feels meaningfully evolved in the sense that you can interact with so many background and foreground objects, and you can even fire eggs at background objects and foreground objects. So it really feels like a more three-dimensional take on a traditional 2D Yoshi game while still having 2D gameplay. And it's really interesting, and it's appreciably different enough from Woolly World that I think it's going to stand out from that.
That's interesting, because to me, I kind of think that the crafted aesthetic does more for the gameplay. Like, Woolly World, it looked good, but the gameplay focus was really you could just unravel stuff, because it's made out of wool.
Sure.
But in Crafted World, like, you can knock over cardboard structures, there's all this stuff you can do with this arts and crafts style. So I kind of prefer this crafted look.
Yeah, no, it really, for me, it grew on me over the course of the Game & Watch, and of course I never disliked it, but as I kept playing it, I'm like, oh man, this really does look good. And one thing I found interesting is that when you're aiming eggs, you actually have full 360-degree control over where the reticle goes, so it's not automatically moving. It stays in place, and you can move it wherever you want.
Some interesting updates or differences, I guess. So I'm looking forward to checking that out, and I'm probably going to check out that Daemon X Machina demo just because they've advertised it. I've not really got into it, so I'm like, okay, let's see what this is all about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not really into this game either. Like, did the showing of this Direct do anything for you guys?
No.
Nah.
I didn't get to see.
I know Steve's kind of into it, but we're all just a little bit down on this game in this.
I mean, to be fair, sometimes games are something you have to experience for yourself, right? So maybe I'll try the demo. Maybe we'll try the demo and end up loving it. Who knows? Yeah, right now it's not doing a ton for me. But something that did get me a little bit interested was Starlink getting more Star Fox missions coming April, which includes the presence of Pigma. And you can't go wrong with Pigma, just in any context.
Yeah. Well, we got the rest of the Star Wolf team that you are hunting down, and you can play as the rest of Star Fox. So, yeah, you can finally play as Slippy.
Yeah.
Right.
Who hasn't
what we've
that?
all been waiting for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, exactly.
So, maybe this will drum up interest for Starlink. Who knows?
I don't think so.
Probably not.
I think it was probably budgeted before, and they were stuck with it.
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah. But the Star Fox stuff was probably the highlight of the game, so it is nice that they're adding more to it, maybe fleshing out a little bit more beyond. Because the content, I think it took me an hour to get through all the Star Fox content in the game already. So they add another hour, sure, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm definitely really happy about Dragon Quest Builders 2 coming. Like, having an actual date for that, I was so happy with the original Builders, and I can't wait to see what they've done with Builders 2, which definitely looks like they've expanded the idea.
Yeah, Builders 1 is a wholesome game. I am not a Minecraft fan at all, but what they do with this formula is just so for me. Like, they take Minecraft and give it an objective. When I play Minecraft, I have no idea what to do. I just get bored. But with Dragon Quest Builders, I was just so into it. And I played the Builders 2 demo when it came out in Japan, and they do some really interesting stuff. But you can glide around like you can in Breath of the Wild, for one. There's multiplayer. There's a lot more in this sequel. And it seems pretty well received in Japan at the moment. So it's not far away either. It's in July. So don't sleep on this game. Like, obviously 11S is the big one, but Builders 2 is just, it's a nice wholesome game on the side.
Support your Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else, guys, you want to comment on before we wrap it up here?
I think that's really it for the games in there. I mean, there's some nice other games in there, but overall, this Direct was just solid. Like, there are some big games in here. Mario Maker was one of the biggest games on Wii U, and to have a sequel on Switch that's so fleshed out, that's going to be massive for the library. Like, in fact, it's probably looking at like one of the most ambitious games on the Switch at the moment. And Link's Awakening Remake, I've dreamt of that, and to have it finally here.
That's fitting.
How apt.
I legit like lost my mind when that was happening. I'm like, oh my god, that's the dream right there. Like, how long have we all been wanting a Link's Awakening remake? And I'm so excited about that. One other thing I did want to mention, you guys may have already gone over it, so I'll be brief. They were so coy with the Smash Ultimate version 3.0 update. We know it's coming.
That was weird.
We know it's in spring, but we don't. They hinted at other new content besides Joker, who's coming before the end of April. So that got my brain on overdrive. Like, what are they going to add with this 3.0 update?
Stadium events.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
probably
who knows?
the best idea.
So perhaps maybe some of the very few missing stages from previous games. Maybe we'll get one or
That'd
two
be
of
nice.
those.
That'd be cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
Kind of doubt it, but that'd be cool if they did that.
Yeah.
I'm expecting
Yeah.
more modes like Andre said, the stadium modes, which would be cool. And give that extra content. Maybe find new ways to earn spirits or whatever they might do. There's a lot of potential there.
Come on,
Yeah.
online Smash Run. That'd be amazing.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Do you think there's going to be another Direct between now and E3, though? Because this comes out at the end of before the end of April, and we still haven't really seen Joker in action. We've seen his character model, but we haven't seen the stage that he comes with. Are they just going to drop this stuff on us like they did with Piranha Plant, or are they going to do another Direct and properly show us this stuff?
I would not be surprised if we got like a mid-March Direct, just to go over what might be coming out in April and May, if anything. We didn't get any information on Luigi's Mansion 3, on Animal Crossing, on all these other games that we did know about. This is all about new stuff, so maybe the next Direct will be a little bit smaller in action and give more details on the stuff they revealed here, as well as the other stuff that we had gotten glimpses of before. That would make sense to me.
And Pokemon has to be revealed soon. They have to advertise an entire new generation, a new Pokemon, new merchandise. There's a lot to reveal, and obviously it won't be in a Direct because they generally don't do that, unless it's like a Pokemon Direct. But I kind of think that's going to be soon.
Probably.
Yeah, I think so too. It has to be.
I also think there will be another Direct before E3, but I have a feeling it'll be timed more to April. It doesn't feel like it'll be next month. I feel like it's probably going to be closer to April, and I do think that we might get a dedicated Smash Ultimate Direct showing off Joker and maybe even announcing the next DLC character, which would be theoretically coming out right around E3.
Yeah, I think overall this was a really, really good Direct. It filled in a lot of questions we had, namely what games are coming to the Switch from Nintendo this year, and now we have a better idea. I for one, am just super stoked for Super Mario Maker 2. I love the original, and I can't wait to play around with some of these new elements. I'm looking forward to doing the full analysis for it. And then, as you all said, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening looks fantastic on the Switch. This game really, I think it's a game that could have used an update, and it's getting the update it deserved. So I really can't wait to play through this whole game, not just with our art style, but not having to switch weapons every 5 seconds on the pause screens.
Yeah. That'd be nice. This was a good Direct. The only worrisome part is summer looks great, but what the heck's happening in spring? That's the big question.
Yeah.
Maybe third parties is the part, propping it up. We'll see. But overall,
And DLC.
And
We
DLC.
have the Captain Toad DLC and Starlink DLC. So
yep. So
Right.
those huge games.
You are right, but we'll look back on this year and we'll say 2019 had Animal Crossing, had Pokemon, it had Mario Maker, it had Zelda, it had Fire Emblem. It's a good
that
year.
way. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a good point. Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty exciting stuff. Any final thoughts, guys, or are we about done here?
I think I'm good.
Alright, and with that, I think we're about done here. So thank you so much for watching, and of course stay tuned to GameXplain for tons more from the direct and clean analysis videos, comparisons probably, and who knows what else. So stay tuned for all that very soon. We'll catch you later. Bye.